Hello, friends. Welcome to Monday Morning Quarterback. Now, listen, the preseason is coming to an end, and we have been talking pretty much all preseason about a number of quarterbacks. One, obviously, being Shedeur Sanders. We are we have gotten a good look at what Shedeur Sanders is more than likely going to be this season. Now, this last game that we saw versus the Rams, it wasn't his best showing. I think that, quite frankly, all the excitement that we're going to see from Shedeur Sanders, we have already seen. Chances are he won't really see the field during any meaningful playing time this season at all. I think this is going to be a season for him to really be the understudy for Joe Flacco. Next, we've got Caleb Williams, year one in Ben Johnson's offense. He's now obviously the head coach of the Chicago Bears, and so I think this has been a pretty good. All right, that's show business for you. Wherever that was, your number is not everybody's information. Anyway, Ben Johnson, year one head coach for the Chicago Bears. I think this is going to be. There were a lot of questions for for me coming into year one with Caleb. But it looks as though actually I've got good reason to believe that their offense is going to probably be okay for year one if and only if Ben Johnson has the discipline to really simplify the playbook in the beginning. I really think that Ben Johnson really should take the Cliff Kingsbury approach with Daniels out in Washington, really simplifying the offense. And then as the season progresses, turning that one option play into two and three options will probably be the best route for Caleb Williams. But it looks as though he's going to do pretty well. It looks as though he's going to do pretty well because Ben Johnson is really well at spacing offensively, and so if you are a timing type of thrower, I think that you can be successful in the Ben Johnson offense. And so, good luck to the both of them. I still believe, and this is probably something they won't even have to worry about because they aren't a postseason team. I believe that Ben Johnson's issue, quite frankly, in Detroit was that when it came time to run the ball, and quite frankly, there is a moment in every game, it seems as though there is in every postseason game, where you just got to get 3 or 4 yards on the ground. Defense knows it's coming, offense knows they got to do it, but you still got to get it. I felt like Ben Johnson was not able to just do the regular, predictable play. I think he had so many gadget plays and so many different ways he could run, a play action, you know, a play. It was just too much. He had too much going on, and he didn't realize that moment in the game where you just got to give it to your running back and let them get a first down so we can extend the chains and get out of a game, right? Um, and so with that being said, there may not even be an issue for a team like um, Chicago, because it's hard to imagine that they'll be in the postseason this year. Who knows? But and if they get there, even if they lose because of poor play calling, I think that'll still be a win overall. If they get to the postseason and Ben Johnson calls the same type of bonehead plays that he called in the last game for the Lions, um, then they'll still look at that as a success because it's in Chicago, right? And so, with that being said, I think they're probably going to have a decent season this year. Hopefully, they do. Um, and we'll see. I'm talking about the preseason stories and kind of what they mean because I want to talk about who I believe is going to be, let's say, the most exciting team to watch this year. And it may not be who you think it's going to be. I actually tend to think that the most exciting team to watch this year is going to be the New York Giants. And I'll tell you why. You're looking at the reason. Their quarterback room. They've got what appears to be, and this graphic is over their face. I got to get that graphic moved. It appears to be that they've got the most exciting quarterback room in the NFL. And I think let's see if it's over there. Oh no, it's covering his head. Jesus Christ. All right, well, we'll have to figure something out with that. Anyway, I think that they will be one of the most exciting teams to watch in the NFL this year. I think that the just the idea that you've got these characters, just generally what you think of these quarterbacks when you look at them, Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, what you look at them as, and then Tommy DeVito was a player that really came in and gave the Giants a flash and like made them think that he could be the future. And then you've got Jackson Dart, star quarterback from Ole Miss, multiple year starter, coming in obviously as a rookie, but he's one of those rookies, not like someone like Shedeur Sanders, bounced around, one good year in Colorado. Jackson played multiple years in SEC football, SEC West if football now if that even matters. And I think he's going to be I think he's going to be in good company, right? Got good experience, but he's also going to be able to learn from some very good quarterbacks. And I think they're going to be competitive in a couple of games. They're sure as heck going to beat this other team. They're sure as heck going to beat the other team that I'm getting ready to name. The next team that I'm getting ready to name is going to be who I believe is going to be the most disappointing team to watch. And you know who that's going to be. You know who the most disappointing team to watch is going to be. The most disappointing team to watch is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. I'm doing something, but close the door. I'll be out there in just a minute. The Dallas Cowboys. Easily, they're going to be the most disappointing team to watch this year. And I'll tell you why. I don't even know who their head coach is. Let's start there. This contract dispute is probably going to be more exciting than the play. Like Micah Parsons he's a game-changing player. Great ball play. I mean, one of the top defensive, but I think that this drama that's going on is actually going to be more exciting than his play this year. I think Dak Prescott's going to disappoint you. I think their offense is going to be disappointing. I think that I think they're going to have some good games. I think they're going to have a 40-point game versus, the Saints. I don't even know if they're on their schedule. They're going to have a game, but then it's like the Cowboys are going to lose the games that really show you who they are. Right? They're going to lose the primetime games. They're not going to have a competitive game against the Lions. It's not going to be competitive. the games that you look for them to, they're not going to be competitive against somebody, like the Kansas City Chiefs, because that's where we want to put the Cowboys. That's where we put their brand, certainly not their players, but that's where we want to put their brand. And I think pontificating about their brand being there is what makes this exciting. I think it's a large part because of their fan base and just how excitable their fan base is. But when it comes to the record and when it comes to what we believe they're going to do, they're going to disappoint us again. They're going to disappoint us again, and I think that's going to be a part of the I think that's going to be a part of the disappointment. The idea that this contract dispute is as big as it is right now, and it's not going to. He's going to end up playing for him, and they're not going to go to the NFC Championship. You know what I mean? Like, so what was it all for? I think drama has become the new product for the they aren't a team that's supposed to win. They're a team that is supposed to be so toxic and so all over the place that, like Michelle Obama said, you are kind of watching a reality. When you watch them, you are kind of watching a reality show. You are. Right? Like, I thought I saw him doing a press conference the other day, calling him an old fart or something. I thought I saw a press conference, and I didn't know if it was AI or if it was real, but it's like it could have been real, where like Micah Parsons was calling Jerry Jones an old fart and gave me a contract that was so disrespectful. You should have paid me this or that. I didn't know if it was even real or not, but it probably was, and that's my point. That's who the Cowboys are. They're dysfunctional. They are, yeah. I mean, they're everything but football. You know who I think though has to have one of those years. I think this guy's got to have one of those years. Lamar Jackson has to have one of those types of years. And I'm not going to say one of those types of years because I believe we're probably, barring an injury, heaven forbid, we're going to probably watch Lamar Jackson have another regular season MVP type season. That's who he is. He's probably the most exciting player in the game right now, right? And we believe that they're going to be seated very well in the playoffs, positioned very well. They've got a good team. We, for the last 2 years, thought this was his year. And I'm just believing and hoping, quite frankly, that this is the year that Lamar Jackson has a postseason where he looks like Lamar Jackson. Like, for the life of me, can we have a postseason where Lamar Jackson is Lamar Jackson? 2 years ago when he played the Chiefs in the postseason, which I believe if he has to get past Buffalo, which it'll probably be Buffalo this year, or Kansas City, I believe he's quite frankly going to do it because, again, he's going to have a Lamar Jackson, postseason. He's got to. This has got to be the year. 2 years ago, I missed the game. I was asleep. Must have been tired or something. It was a Saturday or something. It was Sunday after the game. And I just knew he was going to win. And then last year, I actually saw the game in Buffalo. And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, who is this guy? Who is this guy playing for them, right? You were there. You were hurt. You remember it. This is his year. Because I am of the belief that Josh Allen isn't really who we think he is. That's what I've always felt. That I've always believed that Josh Allen is not who he really proclaims himself to be. And now we see, without a shadow of a doubt, that the Kansas City Chiefs were propped up pretty much all year by the refs and absolutely dismantled on the big stage. This is Lamar Jackson's year. This is his year. He's got to break through, and I believe he's the guy to do it, but he's got to have that Lamar Jackson type postseason, and he very easily could be raising both the MVP trophy and the Lamar trophy mid February next year, because he's that dude. But he's got to have the postseason that we are accustomed to seeing him have in the regular season. Now, we've already talked about the fact that the Giants are probably going to be the most exciting team to watch because of their quarterbacks, which you're going to see. That's my homeboy who thinks he's Jesus. But we talked about Lamar. We talked about the disappointing fact that the Cowboys are going to just be who the Cowboys are. Unfortunately, we've probably seen the last of Shedeur, and Caleb Williams is probably going to have a couple of good games this year. Best of luck to him and both Ben Johnson. Let me know what you guys think. And let me also let you know right now, we need you to like, share, and subscribe, because we are bringing this podcast series to you guys. Sports talk. Right now, there aren't like any real sports talk shows that you can interact with. We're breaking down the games. We're reacting to the games. We're talking about we are reacting to the games, breaking the games down, making predictions, and talking that stuff, man. Okay, anywho, Monday morning quarterback. Let me know what you think, you guys. Give me a comment, give me a like.